All right. Welcome into this edition of the Milwaukee Bucks on Tap podcast. Corey Mullen, Evan Byrne. Evan, how are we doing?
Doing great. Brewers are 3-0 against the White Sox, but that's all right.
Yeah, and we're really trying to. Yeah, and look, I'll be honest here. Evan and I really just trying to finish out the year here with the Milwaukee Bucks. It really hasn't been. I mean, it's probably been the worst season to date. You see everything, a lot of things on Twitter right now of, the Bucks are officially eliminated from playoff contention for the first time since the 2015-2016 season, which means no Bucks playoff basketball, which means, those magical moments that we were just so accustomed to not happening this year. Don't have to really worry about anything other than just getting ready for the offseason. Who knows? Maybe Milwaukee might get a good draft pick. I really don't know if that's going to fall yet. I'm still very unclear of what NBA drafters will look like for the Bucks. I think they get a first-round pick, I believe, from the Pelicans.
Yep.
I think they get the worst one out of the picks. I don't know. And I'm really done trying to figure it out. Case in point, I do think that Milwaukee should do everything in its power to obtain as much young talent as humanly possible. I think that's the objective here because, as we're going to talk about in our first topic, Giannis is probably not going to be there next year, and I think we have to get used to that fact. And if I'm Giannis, I don't know why I would come back in the first place. This team has clearly shown it doesn't care. Under Doc Rivers, that's really what it showed. It doesn't care. And I give credit to Doc because he's done everything in his power to be able to not throw anybody in the bus, to be able to protect his team and stuff like that. But really, what these games are still showing me throughout the year, this team just checked out halfway through the year. They stopped trying. When you're getting blown out, it's one thing you get blown out by teams that are way better than you, like the Spurs. It's another thing when you're getting blown out by a team like the Clippers. Now, granted, I get it. They only played 8 players today because they had a crap ton of injuries, and they're not really playing for anything at this point. So it's just that blowout's understandable, but when they had guys and they were still getting blown out, that just showed me this team's not putting forth the effort. Okay, they're not and people, and that's the thing is people want to criticize Coach Bud all they want because of the lack of playoff success. You know how much I would love to have Coach Budenholzer right now? They never got blown out like this.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, they had a better roster, but the group of people that we can blame is the Bucks ownership. Okay, they got greedy. They thought they were way better than they were. They weren't satisfied, Evan, with just having good regular seasons. Okay, and I'll throw the fan base in there a little bit because I do think the fan base maybe got a little greedy. Of we're sick of losing in the first round and blah blah blah, and and I think there really needs to be some context with those. It's not like Milwaukee lost because they were an inferior team, and again maybe there's a component of it too where Mike Budenholzer's last playoff series they got out coached, but I think what we need to throw into this, okay, number one, Mike Budenholzer at the time was dealing with the death of a family member. Okay, I believe his brother had died during the playoff series, so he was dealing with that. Then, I believe in the same playoff series, Giannis messed up his back. He landed hard on a Kevin Love, excuse me. When he tried to take a charge, he landed really hard on his back. He wasn't the same player. All right? And, and again, I just think this it's we need to be competing for championships. And, Giannis is putting the pressure on him. And maybe there was a component to it, too, where maybe they weren't doing anything in their best interest. Maybe they were just doing it because Giannis was putting public pressure on him. And they didn't want to be one of those franchises who just sat back and did nothing. But I think sometimes when you try to appease your star player, you can maybe do a little too much. In terms of not liking the status quo. I get it. It's frustrating as hell to lose in the first round of the playoffs as a 1 seed. I understand that. Okay. But when you fire a coach, you need to have a backup option.
Mm-hmm.
This team didn't do that. This team never did that. And if I were the Bucks, I would have gone with my first option. The best option on the table at the time was Nick Nurse. Like, why? Like, that's the thing, is Nick Nurse would have been a better option than Adrian Griffin. And I think Nick Nurse, being a Midwest guy, right, he would have jumped at the chance to coach the Bucks. So, but apparently Giannis didn't want him, which is kind of crazy to me because, like, look at where Nick Nurse is now and look who they hired. And despite the fact the guy that they hired had a successful tenure, they didn't have enough belief that those wins were solely because of him, because of his game plan. It was solely, that was just because they're really talented. And why don't we get a more proven coach in here? Well, now we see how that worked out. Okay, Doc Rivers is going to end his tenure with a losing record. Okay, right now I believe he's like 3 games under 500 as coach of the Bucks.
Yeah,
and I've said this about Doc Rivers. I'm going to continue to say it. He is the most overrated coach in NBA history. He has been constantly carried by, everybody except for himself. Okay, he's blown the most 3-1 leads in playoff series in NBA history. Okay. He doesn't coach you to a win, but everybody just has this belief that just because he's an old school coach, that he's honest, that people somehow think he's a good coach. He's not a good coach. Okay. And, he's one of the reasons why the Bucks and Giannis are heading for a divorce. All right. I don't think like that. It's really sad. Even watching today's game, it's really sad that a team of 8 players actually looks a lot better than when Bucks have had a full roster. That's how bad it looks. Gary Trent, who was out of the rotation for 2 months, almost dropped 40 points and hit 9 threes. Okay, and you want to call that a random performance? Fine, go ahead. But if you're just putting him out of the lineup because he was just missing shots, I think that's a load of BS, because I think Gary Trent should have been playing throughout the year. Okay. Like, who was better? Like, who would you have played that was better than Gary Trent was? And
like, that's really just AJ Green.
Like, AJ Green struggled this year a little bit. His numbers dipped, and we can admit that. But again, they still lost by, I think, over 20. But they actually look somewhat better than they had when they had Portis and Kuzma and KPJ playing. That's how bad it's gotten. And I'll get to this in a little bit, but I do want to. I had to get my little rant off first, but I do want to get to the first topic. So it sounds like the Bucks and Giannis are going to be heading for a divorce, okay? Because the owner said about 2 weeks ago, I think Wes Eden said, "Look, either he's going to accept our new contract offer, or we're going to trade him. We're not dealing with this distraction throughout the year." Do you actually believe that Bucks and Giannis won't be a Buck for next season?
It's I wouldn't say it's 50-50, but it's like a hit or miss where it's like he could just kind of give up on, not give up, but just kind of see a separate way with it. Obviously with not extending, but I don't know. I still think there's a little bit of hope with him returning. But I feel a little more like 70-30 of him being traded, but I think it's more of just hey, this is our offer. If you want to accept it, awesome. If not, see ya. I don't think there's going to be a lot of back and forth with it. I feel like it's going to be a pretty set number or set year contract wise. I feel like they're probably not going to do a lot of negotiating to really want to keep him. So I feel like if it's not that initial offer, I feel like he's going to leave, but I don't know. I've prepared myself more for it to just be him will be or he'll get traded. So that's kind of how I lean, just as don't get my hopes up and then he gets traded. It's kind of catches you off guard. But no, honestly, it's unless there is something that they have talked about of what's going to happen throughout the offseason that's going to want to keep him, going to want him to want to stay. Cool. But if there's showing of nothing where it's these are plans this summer and it's kind of just still up in the air, then obviously he'll probably want out. But it's tricky. It's tricky to kind of come up with that for sure decision, but like obviously myself and a lot of others will lean being traded.
I think he's going to be traded because I think he knows this team is not close at all. He said he would want to remain in Milwaukee as long as this team competes for championships. Evan, they're not even a competitive basketball team this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like it's not even like I just don't even think. And I'm done like being like, well, it's injuries. No, no, it's not that necessarily. It's really just the fact that we have a selfish ass basketball team. That's what this boils down to. Okay, like okay, Bobby Portis, Kyle Kuzma, Kevin Porter Jr. Like if Kevin Porter Jr. is your second or third best player, I like that just doesn't amount to a lot of wins for me. Like it really doesn't, because he doesn't make the same impact that say like Drew Holiday does. But by the way, I watched that game the other night. Drew Holiday was still hitting threes, so I'll miss that. And you know, again, he could steal the ball, but that's one component of defense. Kevin Porter Jr. doesn't strike me as this like, you know, lockdown defender. Right, he's definitely not like Drew Holiday. Okay, he's not like what they try to make Malik Beasley out to be, which was this defender, this lockdown guy. They're not either of those things. And Kuzma was like hit or miss guy. He's very inconsistent, very hot and cold.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he could be really like, oh my goodness, Kuzma's really good, or oh god, oh Kuzma, yikes. And they tried to add Cam Thomas, even though they knew for a fact he wasn't a fit. And, you know, they waived him after like a certain amount of games. They just stopped playing him. And I was like, oh, that's weird. I don't think they're going to revisit it as much as Doc Rivers wants to say they are. I don't think they are. I just think you have to get back. Like, really, I think the only way you could get Giannis to potentially stay is if you get rid of all the selfish basketball guys that Giannis railed on early on in the year. Like guys like, he wasn't naming names, but I'll name them anyways. It's Kevin Porter Jr. I don't even know if Bobby was really the issue, because like that's really been his role throughout his the whole time that he's been there. So I don't even want to sit there and be like, well, Bobby's a selfish player, because like that's literally Bobby's role, is to score off the bench. Like
Which he was doing.
Which he should be doing. So like I'm not gonna sit there and be Portis. Kuzma didn't earn that right to be shooting as much as he did. You know, they had a weird thing with AJ Green where they started him in a lot of games that his shooting dipped and then they benched him. And I do think that's a building block there. Ryan Rollins, definitely a building block.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Giannis loves his makeup. Miles Turner, that's also been very hit or miss. I think he should be getting more points for for what his contract is. And again, I'm still seeing a lot of people say that waiving and stretching Damian Lillard to sign Miles Turner is the worst move in NBA history. I don't. The only thing is like he wouldn't have played, so like I don't know if that would have made much of a difference. Yep. Maybe it was the player that they signed. I don't know if the Lillard move itself was enough to be. He didn't want to be in Milwaukee either, so I just don't know. Everybody's like, you know, it's not like he had a love for the city of Milwaukee. He didn't write us. He didn't say. I don't think he said thank you to Milwaukee on the Players Tribune or whatever. Like, he's happy to be back in Portland. He was going through a lot when he was a Buck. So I just don't know where people get this idea that, oh, it's worst move in NBA. No, I mean, maybe it wasn't the right player to sign at the time, but I could understand the move completely. That was my only thing. Do I think they're probably heading for? Do I honestly think though that they're heading for a divorce? Probably, because I think he looks at these performances this year and it's like, well, we're losing a lot of games by 25 plus points, even when I'm out there.
Correct.
And I like, if I'm not making a difference,
that's the big thing.
Like even Giannis himself can't carry himself to all these wins. He's not like LeBron in 2007 where you know because again he's missed a lot of games. And, you know, somebody remarked this, but after his last injury, he didn't have the same burst that he usually does, which, again, it's probably has to do with the soleus strains. And, you know, like Doc Rivers said today, he's not cleared, but look, there's going to be a huge market for Giannis. I do think there's going to be a team who trades for him, overpays for him, and Milwaukee has to kind of wait through those trade options. My only thing is, like, who's going to be behind the trade? Because if it's Jimmy Haslam, I'm scared to death that he's going to mess it up somehow, like he does everything else in his life. And I just don't want that. Like, and I just don't like, and I really just don't like the fact that Jimmy Haslam's our owner in the first place because, you know, just still signing Deshaun Watson to a massive contract after all those allegations came out. I think he's a really scummy guy. And honestly, I've never seen him visit the city of Milwaukee, so I just don't understand. I get him being the owner of a team, but, you know, he doesn't really know our city that well. I haven't seen him. I mean, has he visited? I've never
No
seen
idea.
him. I don't think I've ever seen him visit the city of Milwaukee. And again, usually if the owner's there, right, usually they highlight that a little bit. And I just don't know if he's ever been there. And now he's going to be buying the trade decision for Giannis. I don't like that at all. But I mean, it just sucks because I just remember in 2013 to 14 how when Herb Cole sold the team, there was these two guys who kept the team in Milwaukee. You know, the excitement was back to being a Bucks fan again, and now it's just kind of back to where we were before. And it's just really unfortunate. And it's really unfortunate because I don't know when we're going to be seeing Bucks playoff basketball again. And it sucks because like that's like the number one thing that I enjoy watching. And now that it's gone, it's like now we're just left talking about topics like this. Let's see if I can find the next one. Now I'm left talking about topics like Kevin Porter Jr. saying
I knew it.
Twitch stream that he wants to beat Bam's 83-point record. This is where we're at, Evan. Like this is where we're at.
Let's break this one down.
So now, see, this is and I take extreme issue with this only because of the fact it's extremely selfish to say that because this is the kind of attitude that I'm talking about that's been poisonous for the Bucks. Like it's poisonous to say that. Like, oh, I have to go for Bam's 83-point record. Kevin Porter Jr., how about we play more than 38 games? Because from what Doc said, you're not going to be playing the rest of the season. So it's not going to happen this year. Okay. And it's just, why say that? Like, why did he need to say that? Okay. Like, it's not even like a target on your back. It's just a selfish ass thing to say, to be like, oh, well, you know, my goal is to beat Bam's 83-point record. Why?
No one's asking.
No one's telling you to say that. And by the way, you're not, because as surprised as people were when Bam did it, people are sure it's not going to be like Kevin Porter Jr. is not scoring 83 points. He does not have that in his repertoire. Like any guy can score. Don't get me wrong, but KPJ, no.
He has one 50-point game, and now all of a sudden he's going to get 84.
Hey, KPJ, why don't we focus on like not turning the ball over 9 times? Why don't we do that? Okay. Why don't we also focus on like being a little more efficient from the field? Okay. Like it's just like what? Like I just hate this attitude. I hate this attitude of I'm just looking for stats. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Okay. Players can do whatever. Should be able to do whatever they want on their off time, but don't say some dumb shit like, "Oh, well, I want to score like 86 points." Like, my God, see, this is the type of thing that's just maddening to Bucks fans, where it just feels like there's just not everybody all in to play team basketball. That's literally what he's saying. He's basically saying, "Oh, I'm just looking to score." Okay, I don't care. It's weird because his assist rate was pretty high this year. I think it was like his highest that he's ever had in his career. It's a little weird to be like, "Wow, I'm looking to score like 86 points." Like, who's asking? Well, it's definitely not going to happen because he put it out there. Now all these guys are going to be like guarding him a lot more closely because like Kevin Porter Jr. is not scoring like 86 points. He's not. Okay. The only reason why it happened is because it was against the Wizards. That's the only reason why Bam did it, because the Wizards were tanking and they were fouling and stuff like that. It's not like, you know, performances like that are going to be happening every night, and it's damn sure not going to be Kevin Porter Jr. It'd be like Luka, or, you know,
I was shocked it was Bam. I think a
Yeah,
lot of
everybody
people
wanted,
were.
but the next was definitely not going to be Kevin Porter Jr. Like it's not. It's crazy to even put that in the either. But you know what? This is where the Bucks are. You know what? We're just effing around to finish off the season. That's basically what they're doing. The whole team's checked out, and you know, I mean, this next topic's not even about like these are about 4 Bucks players, but I still think it is crazy to say this. Patrick Beverley, who briefly spent some time with the Bucks, said that Damian Lillard's not a Hall of Famer. Which I'm gonna be honest, as an NBA fan, as a guy who's watched the NBA, I think that's clinically insane to say that. Not only is Damian Lillard a Hall of Famer, he's probably gonna be first ballot. Okay, that's one of those where it's like, U.S. Damian Lillard Hall of Famer, yes, that's an automatic yes. Like there's nothing like doing what he did, coming where he came from, and doing it all in Portland. Like, first of all, Lillard's like probably the greatest trailblazer of all time.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Besides,
who else is
Drexler,
like who's a close second? Like there
Clyde
was
Drexler.
Marcus Aldridge.
Yeah.
I'll put Marcus Aldridge top 5. What, Clyde Drexler?
Yep.
I mean,
Bill Walton.
Okay, Bill Walton. Here's what I'll say for Bill Walton. I would say Bill Walton is. Forgot about Bill Walton. Bill Walton maybe I might put Lillard at 2 now that I think about it. Because Walton won a championship. And, he was a driving force behind that championship back in like 1977. But I'll put Lillard at 2 for sure. Like, I think if Lillard won a championship with Portland, I would put him over Walton. But, now that Walton won with the Blazers, which not really anybody's been able to do, I would definitely put Lillard at like number 2 and Walton at 1. But, oh my goodness, he is a Hall of Famer for sure.
Yeah, licking 9-time All-Star, All-Star Game MVP, All-NBA first team, 4-time All-NBA second team, Rookie of the Year, 3-point contest, top 75 player. Yeah, it's pretty.
No, I'd say that's the other thing, Ivan. If you're named the top 75 player,
yep, you're gonna be in the Hall.
You're gonna be in the Hall of Fame first ballot. That's not even a question. Like, there was. Think about it. There were 75 players. He put Damian Lillard as one of the 75 greatest players in NBA history, and no particular order. Damian Lillard said, "You're top 75, dude. You're one of the greatest players in NBA history." Along with these other guys. Yeah, no, he's going to be first ballot. It's not even a question. Like, Patrick Beverley can talk all the stuff he wants to.
Yep.
But yeah, no, and you can hate it as much as you want to. When we try to compare it to Derrick Rose, where it's like, okay, well, Derrick Rose, like if he never got hurt, Derrick Rose would for sure be a Hall of Famer because he won an MVP. And I think Derrick Rose is eventually going to get in because of, usually if you win an MVP, usually you get in. But Derrick Rose is not going to be first ballot. Absolutely not. God, no. His prime was way too short. It was like 4 years. Okay, so no, it's not going to be Derrick Rose. Like, Derrick Rose might get in eventually, maybe the 3rd or 4th or 5th time or something. I have no idea, but no, it's not going to be. But God forbid, Damian Lillard's first ballot, undisputed. Like, no question. It's crazy. It's crazy to even say that. But then again, he also said that he was a better shooter than Dwayne Wade. So, which again. I don't think that's particularly fair because he really faced Dwayne Wade in it, like at the end of his prime. But if Patrick Beverley would have gone up against prime Dwayne Wade, no shot. No one was stopping prime Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, they ain't calling the Flash for a reason.
No. Like, Dwayne Wade and LeBron in Miami was nasty. I used to watch those games when the Bucks had Brandon Jennings, like Monte Ellis. Knowing for the most part Milwaukee had no shot, but goodness gracious, that was just unfair basketball right there. LBJ, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, like just not even fair. I can't even imagine playing against that team. They won 28 straight games in the regular season. Like, that team was just clinically unfair. All right. Ooh, this is a good one. Last topic of the night, Evan. More excuses from our guy Doc Rivers.
Oh yeah.
So he said that. So following after the Bucks lost against the Spurs on Saturday, Doc said the following after the team was eliminated from playoff contention. It's been disappointing, obviously, since I've been here. I haven't had a healthy stretch, and it's been your keys guys. It's been Giannis. It's been Dame, who, by the way, hasn't been on the Bucks this season. This year, having only one quote unquote star. Every other team has 2 and 3. We needed health. We were thin. All the talk and all that stuff probably didn't help either. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly why I don't like Doc Rivers. He doesn't take accountability for anything. Oh, we were thin. We didn't have a star. Oh, So Evan, riddle me this: how many players? How many teams this season were missing their stars?
Correct, and still were.
And we're still able to win games. Interesting how that works. Hey, last time I checked, Shea missed, a majority of the year.
Yep, Tatum, Jokic, a lot of those guys out. You
Yep.
got to work with what you got, and if you can't just assume that he's gonna not get hurt.
Oh, but well, Evan. I mean, I thought Miles Turner was supposed to fix everything. I mean, that's what you signed him as, right? A 4-year, $170 million contract. I thought Miles Turner was supposed to be one of your stars.
Oh, you don't play him? Oh, interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting how that works. Having one quote unquote star. And here's the other thing. Riddle me this, Doc Rivers, since you're full of excuses. Minus Damian Lillard, it's essentially the same team from last year. So you just add Kevin Porter Jr. Kevin Porter Jr.'s from last year to this year.
Yeah, they re-signed a bunch of guys.
Bobby Portis last year to this year.
Yep. Taurean Prince,
although he missed most of the year due to a neck injury, but
Gary
still.
Trent. Yeah, all those guys coming back.
So, I mean, again, and Damian Lillard wouldn't have played this year. So how can you sit there and be like, we were thin? Well, we were thin. How could you be thin the whole year? Well, we needed health. Well, okay, so you're basically saying this team was built on Giannis being healthy, and without Giannis being healthy, well, yeah, I mean, funny how that works out. Funny about the fact that Doc Rivers. So, but what you can't, even if you don't have stars, you can coach though. Effort, rebounding, defense. 3 traits that the Milwaukee Bucks didn't possess this season. I don't see any team complaining about So let me ask you this: so would a star helped you chase after a rebound? Would a star have helped maybe you guard the 3-point line? Would a star have helped you not take selfish ass shots? Star would have helped that. So you're saying Giannis would have helped that. So the Milwaukee, even with Giannis, was getting blown out by 25.
Yep.
So you're saying, okay. Now I get it. So Giannis would have helped that. That's what they're saying. That's such BS. It's such BS because it's just like the team was getting blown out by 30. That's the most. And by the way, this is like the most times in franchise history that they've lost by damn near 25 and 30 points.
Yeah, it seems like every game they're losing by 20.
So, okay, even if you didn't have a star, so a star wouldn't have been checked out with your coaching because trust me, halfway through the year, this team was pretty checked out. This team was not putting in the requisite effort. I mean, nobody cares anymore about the win against the Suns with nobody basically because if they were healthy, they would have beaten the brakes off Milwaukee. But that's neither here nor there. But Doc, you didn't coach effort. These guys showed no effort halfway through the year after Giannis went out. Okay, you don't teach your guys to rebound. We weren't healthy. Okay, well then figure it out. John Horst did everything he could, but if you don't. But if you guys aren't trying out on the floor and they're damn near tanking without tanking, what do you expect? And again, Doc Rivers had that excuse lined up like dominoes. Okay, he did. He truly was like, well, you know, you kind of half-ass expected that to happen. So let me just be like, well, we weren't healthy all year. See, that's such a load of BS to even if your team wasn't healthy, at least like there was inferior teams, Evan, who were putting in more effort than the Milwaukee Bucks.
Correct. The Jazz, the Wizards.
So let me ask you: you lost to the Wizards 3 times this year. That has nothing to do with health.
Multiple with Giannis.
By the way, let me ask you this: so when the Bucks lost by damn near 45 to the Nets, who don't really have a star, I don't consider Michael Porter Jr. to be a star.
Yeah.
So you're saying a star would have helped that? No, it wouldn't have. Okay. Loser, you're getting blown out by the Jazz. You're getting blown out by the Grizzlies. You're getting blown out by the bottom feeders in the NBA, and you're saying a star would have helped that. This is who he is, but this is who Doc Rivers is. He just, he gets carried to one championship, and all of a sudden people think he's a good coach. Okay? And now he's going to get carried to the Hall of Fame. This guy's been carried his entire career. Like, it's so maddening about, like, this guy, about, like, Doc Rivers can't do anything unless he has, like, 5 or 10 good players with him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not a good coach. I mean, people keep saying that, but he's like, no. After this, he's probably going to retire. We're probably going to hear from him again. He might go back into broadcasting. Who knows? But it's maddening to be like, wow, we didn't have any stars. You lost 3 times to the Wizards, who, like, actively allowed Bam to score 83 points. The Wizards are legitimately trying to lose game, and somehow you looked a lot worse than they did in the games that you played against them. Like, it's just super frustrating, but I mean, honestly, I don't know what else to say other than the fact that I'm happy that the season's almost over.
I am too. Yeah, they got 8 games left. Obviously played today, but yeah, I just need this to be done. I've not been able to watch a lot of games, but whenever I check on the score, I'm like, oh, they're down by 23.
I mean, really, Evan, we're playing guys like, right now you can tell the season's over because in today's game, they started Andre Jackson Jr. at point guard. They started Ajax at point guard. Cormac Ryan was receiving minutes. The Blazers game got so bad. Thanasis played in the first quarter. Repeat, Thanasis played in the first quarter. That's how you know the season's a wash. Because, like, dude, if Thanasis is getting first quarter minutes, I'm like, oh, hell nah. Hell nah. Like, oh my goodness. He's like, if there's a breathing pulse, he's going to throw you out there. Like, Cormac Ryan actually looked a lot better than some of our
players. He's not a bad player. I feel like definitely could be used somehow in the bench, but still, you're not just going to throw him out there all of a sudden next year.
No, I mean, look, it's going to be interesting to see like how this team builds for next year because, look, there are some positives, right? Ryan Rollins has been good. Usman, I think he fouled out. And he didn't score a lot today, but again, Usman's been solid. I think that's a building block for sure. But it's kind of like Jenga where, you have kind of like, you're just stacking it. So, like, you got about 2 or 3 pieces, but you don't know where else this team is going to be able to, like, you hope, like, it just doesn't fall right over. Again, we'll see what happens, but yeah, it's just been a very, very unfortunate year. And, honestly, next year is probably going to be a lot longer for the both of us if we do the podcast, which we probably will. So it's unfortunate, but I mean, at the end of the day, the Brewers season is here.
Hey, yep, 3-0, starting out strong.
Woo! All right, so Evan, you got anything else?
No, getting 8 more games left in the season. We'll see how it goes.
Yep. Oh. Yep. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in to this edition of the Milwaukee Bucks at Tap podcast. And we're going to see you guys next week.